Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Loan Officer Wealth Podcast. We are here with Joel Richardson from Austin, Texas. Joel, welcome.
Hi, how's it going?
I am fantastic. How are you?
Good. I could say howdy since I'm from Texas, but howdy. There you go.
Right on. So, for our listeners to get to know you a little bit better, give us just a little bit of background, how long you've been in the business, all that wonderful stuff.
Okay, I was a dot-com spit out in year 2000 or so. Found myself quickly out of a job, found myself president of unemployed.com. There was a lot of us back then. I was just trying to network around at the time. We were here, we moved to Portland, Oregon for a job that fell apart. Then I was just networking up there, and there was a lady who worked at Chase Mortgage, and she said, "Look, you probably got to put food on your table. I need help. Interest rates are falling. It's sales, but you eat what you kill, and you get 10 free leads a day from the Chase system." And I said, "All right, I'll try it." And I'm stuck ever since. Chase, First Horizon, then moved back to Austin with First Horizon, and then joined PrimeLending. It'll be 16 years, the very first of August.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Yeah.
That is amazing. So, you have done a phenomenal job on your Google rankings. So, in the Austin, Texas market, you have 112 five-star ratings and reviews on your profile. You're really well ranked. And when we were in our preamble, we were talking about consistency.
Mhm.
And so, I would love to know, when did you start focusing on online marketing? What type of results are you seeing from that now? And then let's talk tips and tricks for our listeners on
Sure.
how they can implement.
Yeah. I think the I think where it kind of hit me on a kind of a global thing. We're on vacation in California. We actually drove there from here, but everywhere we go, we had our dog. So my wife was looking for dog-friendly places on Travelocity and Yelp and all that stuff. And we were only looking at rank, what were people saying about it? What were they reviewing? It's the old days, you would have to pull out a Fedora's book or call somebody, and I've done that because I'm 55. But I was thinking, well, this is catching on for other stuff too. And we found that quickly that, Yelp's Yelp, it's very restaurants and consumer types of businesses. But people, when they go to Google, first things that pop up are Google reviews. That's kind of how they rank. And so it's like, well, people are Googling lenders, mortgage dudes, whatever they're looking at. It's imperative that first page is best, and like 99% best. Second page is about 1%. Then after that, you kind of get lost in the shuffle. And then they run the ads too. So you get 5 ads and 3 real dudes. But back then it wasn't quite as much. And so it doesn't take long to kind of figure out, well, people are reviewing you a good review or even a bad one. If you reply smartly, you're going to be higher ranked. So with a whole generation and now a second generation of people who do a lot of stuff online because the search costs are really cheap and fast. I mean, Google's pretty smart. It can give you a billion answers in a second.
Yeah.
Um, those those customers will be researching lenders before they even think about contacting real estate agent. Yes, real estate agents are very important and other referral partners. But if you're not really paying attention to how people are shopping today, and what is it? Half the people, 55% are now millennials and younger that are buying a house. How are these generations shopping for what I do? And they're online checking things out. So it doesn't take Einstein to figure that out. And so you have to have a Google business page. So if you don't have one, you're already behind the curve. Um, I have my own personal, Instagram and all that. Then I have my business one. So make sure you have a business one of those. But I ask customers, I always call them the day before closing. I email them or text them. It's the day before closing. I'd love to run over your numbers and get input on my team. And I honestly want input on how we did. And if I'm getting pretty good vibes, I said, "Hey, man, can I text you a Google review link?" And 9 times out of 10, they say, "Sure." So I text them the link. Do they do it or not? Uh, I don't know. I think I get about half.
Yep.
If they don't, eventually I'll follow up with a first payment letter because it's all in this closing package that they e-sign these days at our company, and they don't really get one. So I email them one a week after close, and I give them the links to review me either on Zillow or Google. A lot of people go to Zillow too, so that's important. But that's it. And if they don't, they don't. I don't hound them. I mean, if they feel comfortable reviewing, some people just don't review. Other people are. I'm seeing a lot of the younger people love reviewing.
Mhm.
Older customers are more not really apt to do that. They may pass your name along. I also handwrite them a thank you card and drop 2 or 3 business cards in there too after closing to both agents and my buyer. So that's really important. I mean, come on, they just put food on your table. Tell them thank you. I mean,
Yeah.
pretty simple. Just being mannerly. But
Yep.
that's how we got into really trying to drive the Google rankings with reviews. We do some search engine optimization stuff too, but the reviews are key to it. Yeah.
Yeah, that is amazing. And I think, a big takeaway there is the texting of the review link. And, we normally see about 60%. The 60% of the customers should leave
Yeah.
a review. So you're right up there doing
Mhm.
fantastic with that. So I'm interested in, so you also hit the nail on the head with how the purchase dynamic is changing with the consumer, because we're seeing with our clients that are getting those inbound phone calls from Google, a lot of those people are reaching out to a lender before they reach out to a realtor. Can you speak to that and what that type of experience is like? Like when you get a phone call from somebody on Google, what is that experience typically like?
Well, you get kind of 2 groups. One are pure tire kickers for rates.
Yep.
What's your rate? What's your close? And then they have a script. 800 credit score, 20% down, $700,000 house. Just kind of run through it. Right then, they may not be the customer for me. We don't have the lowest rates. I have great service, but it's hard to be Nordstrom's competing at Walmart. It's
Yep.
just 2 different business models. I'll give them an honest rate, but why would I undercut something I couldn't even do for my brother
Right.
just to get their thing? So I don't spend a whole lot of time with them. I give them a rate idea. They'll tell me it's high. I'm saying, well, it is what it is. But I just assume they're taking my stuff and going next door and saying, well, he can get me this. But then the other group, they really want to be educated. So I think I spend a lot of time with them by just listening to them
Yep.
and helping figure out what they're telling me. A lot of times they're first time buyers. They don't know anything, or they think they know. Maybe they got down a rat hole and on Google or searching stuff. Uh, it's unbelievable how many people think you still need 20% down payment. I mean,
Yeah, it's crazy.
it's crazy. I get that 2 or 3 times a week. Oh no, 20% down. I'm like, what do you have? Nothing. I'm like, great. Down payment assistance program, you
Right.
know, that type of a thing. So when the calls come in, it does take a little bit of hand holding. I assume they're shopping other people. When I get to their credit report, I can see if they're shopping other people. Um, so you kind of know who they are, unless it's just the general credit bureau they're pulling from. But I just try to add value. And then I always ask them, do you have an agent? Yes or no? If
Yes.
they do have one, I ask them to put us on an email. If they don't have one, I figure out what the price range is in the area of town. Austin's getting big enough now where it's hard to specialize if you're far north or far south. It's an hour drive. So we've grown a lot. And so maybe the agents that are up north in the suburbs there don't really do that well in the southern suburbs. So I try to hook them up, give them, just like my agents, I give out 3 lender names. Well, guess what? I'm giving out 3 real estate names too. So I do the same thing unless I'm getting just the one name from a customer sent to me. It's a great way to play that trick back on them.
Mm.
Sorry, Susie Realtor, you give out 3 names too. And so, but I try to hook up a personality with an agent personality.
Yep.
And when you can go to an agent and just email or text them saying, "Hey, I'm sending so and so to you. They're looking for this price range. They're looking at a condo or a house. They're looking in the next 1 or 2 months. Good luck. Let me know how it goes." and I get a response back like that. So I scratch their back, they scratch my back. You've had a number of guys on your podcast that have told you the exact same thing.
Yeah.
And it's true. So now with Google leads and stuff coming in from the internet, not coming from real estate agents, it's our chance to give the referrals out. For the first, we never did that in the 2000s.
Yep.
We're like, please, Mrs. Realtor, send me, and begging. But now it just, hey, here you go. It's great. And um, but you still got to deliver value to those customers, and then of course to your agents too, because everyone can quote a 30-year fixed rate. But have you ever thought about quoting finance mortgage insurance and
Yeah.
not just monthly? I mean, just really kind of educating people on the various things to do or whatever. And sometimes it's being dead honest with them, like, you know what? You only got 8 months of being self-employed. I really can't find a program for you. Call
Right.
me next year. But I don't forget that person. He's on a different list that I keep following up with.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's amazing, Joel. And so, like, you just nailed it. Consumer direct has changed, and Google,
Yes.
that pathway to the consumer is arguably the highest quality lead that you can bring in from any type of marketing. Have you ever done any like paid lead gen, like Zillow leads or anything like that?
No, back in the day, I did partner with a real estate agent on Zillow leads. We both got nothing.
Yep.
I'm really hesitant to do that. I get that there's a subset of agents that have their hands out wanting to help subsidize their marketing expenses. That's saying
Yep.
it nicely. But in reality, I find that if I just do a damn good job and over communicate, I'll probably get the agents that I want to do business with versus the ones that, you know what? Thanks, Joel, for giving me 4,000 this time, but Billy over there is going to give me six. Stop my marketing budget. It's to me, it's a never ending game of pay for play. I just don't really, I don't do. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It's just not nothing that I really do.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. And the lead quality is a huge component of that, because you can put a lot of marketing dollars out there that don't return anything other than, you're trying to maintain that relationship, which you said is always at risk. And what
Yeah,
I'm wondering about is the quality of the lead of a consumer that calls you from Google.
yeah,
You have a rough idea of how many actually turn into fundings compared to the.
yeah. I do because I do my numbers. So last year, interestingly, I had more leads come from internet, Zillow, Google, something than I did real estate agents.
Wow.
However, real estate agent leads stuck about 10% higher than Google leads.
Okay. Yep.
So they're not as sticky. So the quality is not as good because hey, they're tire kickers and stuff like that. So if you take out the kicker guys, I would think they're up there with real estate agents, but I count them all if they're coming in from the internet. And I ask them, where'd you find me? Because I want to know what they searched and where they searched.
Yep.
Did you look investor loans, first time buyer? What'd you look out for out there? Because my wife does my marketing. She wants to know so she can help. We can drive stuff. Do I do an Instagram video on renovation loans or whatever to help kind of kick that through? And so, yeah, the quality of leads aren't as good or sticky, but the ones that are, you know, there's some good quantity, and quality is with the quantity. You just got to quickly learn to separate the wheat from the chaff. And look, we're all in this business. You've had the people that are just tire kickers, and you got to get them off the phone or off the email, but respond to them all because you just never know. Uh, you know, so yeah.
Absolutely. So do you have a rough idea, like, even if you include the tire kickers
Mhm.
of the phone calls that you get from Google, how many of them fund? Maybe 10%, 15%,
Yeah,
5%?
24%,
I'm sorry?
24.
24%,
Mhm.
including the tire kickers?
Yep.
Fund.
Yep. Fund.
Whoa. Holy.
Pretty
Do,
good. Yeah.
do you have a rough idea how many calls you get per day?
Per month, I get about 20 to 25 leads per month on internet.
That is phenomenal, Joel.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That is amazing.
And that
Um,
it's just me. It's not, I mean, it's not, I don't have a company of people. It's me and I have two assistants. So
right
yeah.
on. And I'm assuming picking up the phone call is probably the most profitable thing that you do.
Yeah. So, and I was writing this note, you have to be hyper responsive.
Yes.
Either text, call, email. If you're not that's business calling you.
Yeah.
Even if it's a robo call for someone wanting to do your security system, click. But that's my desk phone gets a lot of that junk. People wanting to do my toners, all that junk. But my cell phone gets more of the quality ones, because if you don't pick up or answer quickly, they're going to the next person. Because remember, that real estate agent either gave you them 5 cards, or there's the Google rankings. Well, Joel didn't answer. What about Billy? What about Susie? They kind of go down. And if you can get them on the not on the hook, but it's kind of like fishing. If you could get them interested in the bait, they're more apt to stay with you and not call the other guys, or maybe call one or two versus going down the litany. But people are impatient. If you don't pick up right away, they go to the next one. And I heard one of the guys you interviewed saying, "I'll never pick up the call." I'm like, why not? I mean, that's like a restaurant putting a guy out front saying, "Sorry, you can't come in until tomorrow." I mean,
Right?
so to me, yeah, it might be a junkie call or whatever, but they're getting me. They're not getting one of my two assistants. We have a way to work it out once they come in, but they're calling me. It's my brand. It's not Liz or Annette's brand. They can generate their own business, but they're calling me. And so I really do a lot of the pre-work, the pre-qual, the pre-approval, and then we kind of wean them to the assistants after that. But yeah, and the biggest thing I've found out when people do cold call you is be real. Um, I heard um, oh goodness gracious, I heard somebody say it, I can't even remember his name right now, but he said, trust is at an all-time low in this country. I mean, people don't trust their crazy relatives, what they say at the dinner table and all that, but just be real. And if you're not
Yeah.
real and tell people straight, that's just telling you you're not real, but they see right through it. And so if you're being real and honest, and even if you don't know the answer, if you come back to them quickly with an answer, they like that so much better than you just telling them some hooey off the tip of your tongue. And it's all right to come back, because it's telling them you're thinking of an answer. You're thinking of a solution. You're researching it. And I'll tell them, look, I'm gonna call an underwriter and get her opinion about this. And I'll call an underwriter and get her opinion about it. Get back a hold of them and say, what, my underwriter's wanting this. But if we can do this, I think we got one. And I assume there's no other loan officers doing that.
No, no,
Yeah.
that's and I think, well, to go further into our conversation about the consistency and the power of consistency,
Mhm.
be real with people, be authentic, and then follow up. I mean, your funding ratio on these leads is absolutely phenomenal. So can you
Yeah.
talk to us a little bit about how you stay consistent with your follow up, even when there's not a deal today? Being real with people, setting them straight, and then doing that long-term follow-up. What do your processes look like for that?
Sure. As you can tell, I'm 22 with my gray hair. So I do a lot of stuff written down. And I honestly keep a written I do a spreadsheet of leads, and it's over here somewhere, but I got them all: purchases, refis, construction. Um, every week, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, I go down and contact them, text or email, checking in. Maybe it's a housing statistic. Did they have any luck this weekend? The newer leads kind of get more of a any luck this weekend. The one they've been sitting there for a few months, they might get are you still looking? Can I still help you? Those types of emails. Then I have another group called Simmer. That's on the back burner. They get touched once a month. That could be people with credit problems, people that need to file their taxes for next year, people that say, I'm going to be looking when my lease expires next January. Those types get a once a month, but I try to deliver something of value. And it's usually something about Austin housing and rates. The one I sent out this Monday and Tuesday, I had to hurry up before our Fed meeting, is about what happens if the Fed increases their rates by a quarter, which they'll probably do. We look at the rhetoric, but people don't understand really what the Fed rate is. and they watch the news and they assume everybody's rates for everything are going up. And we all know in this industry, they're connected, but they don't necessarily coincide. And so giving them that, you know, explanation, I get so many responses back. I never knew that. Wow, thank you. Things like that. So you're delivering those little things of value. At the end of the day, you're like, how's a house hunt? Can I help you with a deal? That's kind of the underlying thing. But um, yeah, every week, I mean, it's in the morning, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which allows me to focus on Thursday, Friday, uh, referral partners.
That's right.
And so my Fridays a lot of times are texting agents, and it might be the same thing about the Fed rates, exact same thing, or maybe a productivity tip for them, but it's really kind of, you know, something that they can kind of grasp onto or share uh with their clients, or maybe another agent in their office. Yeah.
That's incredible. And so, are you manually sending all those messages, or do you have them in lists and you're doing a broadcast out to?
I am manually doing it. I have a weird brain. I can remember, I have written down which assistant they're working with, and I have written down which agent, but I remember what price range, what side of town, if they're first time home buyers. Just because if you do it over and over and over every week, you're going to remember that Mr. Smith is an investor, but you know, rates are crazy bad. He wishes they were 5. Why can't they be? Sorry, they're 7.5 at 4 points or whatever. But you know, they don't understand why. So giving them that little, well, here's what's really going on type of a thing. And so doing it by hand lets me stay engaged mentally. And maybe it's an energy weird thing, but I understand what they're doing, where they're coming from. So if they respond, I can quickly be hyper communicative back to them with the response. I don't have to look anything really up in my notes. Yeah.
That is incredible, Joel.
My refi list is really short, by the way.
For now,
For now, yeah. And I think now is when you plant the seed, you sow the seeds now for hopefully the time to come. I mean, on some people, if you even get them 3/8 lower on those big mortgages, you got yourself a refi.
Oh
But
yeah,
I think you cannot forget your database. And so my database, here's I USPS flyers to them every month.
that's amazing.
I've been doing it for 20 years.
How do you create the flyer?
It's me writing, and my wife will put it, and we get it printed, but it's usually there's something personal in there. I do something fun, top 10 list, customer question of the month, stuff like that. We have some stock stuff here at PrimeLending. We'll do, you know, renovation, things like that, that might be interesting to people that already own houses. Um, we have weird property taxes in Texas, so sometimes it's kind of analyzing what the counties are doing for that. You know, just trying to deliver something of value. And it was really funny. A real estate agent of mine, he still refers to me a lot of business, was doing it when we were his customers. We loved it because he had a jokes and trivia contests and all that. And then we started doing, and I say we, my wife and I, when we did start doing mortgages back in 2001, he stopped doing it because of the cost. And he told me later, he said, I should have kept doing it because nobody gets anything really great in the mail anymore. But I get people commenting, man, my kids have grown up in it. Now they're in college. And I had one lady go, I remember when he was a baby and now he's at Colorado in Boulder, you know, a young man. And it's kind of funny because you're showing something really personal. People love personal touches. I'm not calling them saying, hey, my son's at Colorado. It's that little thing. I assume half of them are getting thrown away, probably. But I guarantee you, over time, we talked about the waves pounding the sands of marketing. If you just keep going and going and going, it'll come to its fruition.
Oh, it absolutely it does, and that's marketing. You know, half of it is you know, but you get a different half every time you send it out.
Yep.
So you know, it really does have that impact. So Joel, and again, thank you for being so generous with your time.
Yeah.
But with that level of tenacity with your database marketing, how does your business break down? Maybe we'll wrap up on that, but like how much comes from referrals? How much comes from referral partners? How much comes from the marketing and advertising?
Okay. I kind of break it down into referral basis, like past customers and repeat customers, real estate agents, internet, and then financial professionals, which could be attorneys, CPAs, things like that.
Okay.
And then I also have one friends and family and networking, and then another one for builders. I don't do production builders. I don't have a builder account. I do custom construction loans, so I get some referrals from them. But I would say um, historically, about half of my fundings are from past customers and repeat customers. So if you're new in this business, your database is the most important thing you'll ever own. I don't care if you go to 25 different companies, you take that database with you. It's yours. Not the loan information. You can't take that, but you got your emails and phone numbers. And then I would say it's half. And then about maybe a little bit less than half, because about 30-ish% come from real estate agents and roughly about the same came from internet. So that's 60. Yeah. So a little, maybe 40% or so from customers. And then just really kind of a trickle from financial planners and those types and just bumming around town. But those guys, when they really stick hard, because if you're doing a divorce loan, that divorce attorney saying you're going there, that don't pull Zillow with me, or not Zillow, but Rocket Mortgage or anything like that. They don't know what they're doing, because we have weird home equity laws here in Texas. You got to really know what you're doing. But yeah, and so those will really stick. That's my number one focus is next year, is really trying to grow that part of it. But it's a different marketing altogether. But I would say, yeah. So if you look at those kind of columns of your business, my internet is really, really gone from non-existent 10 years ago to a major, major part that you have to invest a lot of time and money in.
Absolutely. But every deal that comes rolls over into a real estate referral relationship and gets into the database marketing, and then comes back and fills in the 40% as well. It's just another, hopefully exponential result.
It sure does. And my biggest thing that with the whole, and I'll throw social media and with internet, is I don't get it. Why people can look at me driving my Jeep and liking it a lot, but they do. And it's like, I'm just driving my Jeep. My wife will put some silly music on it. We're bumming around town. I'm like, I don't get it. It's kind of like the TikTok thing. She'll do something that I think is kind of stupid on TikTok. Click, click, click. All these people like it or whatever. We'll see what Threads does. But it's like, I'm really not giving anything of value doing this silly thing, but you got me. But it's brand awareness, type of a deal. And I think that's a hard thing for us math people really to think about, Chris. You're coming out here doing podcasts. Who else is doing that? I mean, so it's a tough thing for us to trip over, going, I got to get out there and you have to be crazy, but you got to show people you're just a real person, because that's how they see you now. In the old days, they just didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, I could not agree more. Well, Joel, that is exceptionally valuable. Thank you so much. If people are interested in reaching out or get more information, where do people go to see pictures of you driving your Jeep and get more information about you?
Yeah, so you can review me on Google. No,
Only 5 stars. Only 5 stars.
Yeah, my website is myfinanceteam.com, and then you can look that up on IG and stuff too. I think it's my wife. We kind of do as our Austin Mortgage Lender or something, but on IG and Facebook and whatnot. But yeah, that's how you find me, myfinanceteam.com. Then at the bottom, all my links are there to the various social media outlets. But yeah, you're welcome to follow me or copy me or whatever. As long as you're not in Austin, you can copy me.
That's awesome. Well, Joel, again, thank you for spending the time. I truly appreciate it. And to all of our listeners, run over to iTunes, hit us with those 5-star ratings and reviews.
That's right.
Thank you for listening.